events. Commissioner Meyer,
Nothing to report this evening, thank you.
Commissioner Amoruso.
A few things, events. First thing we've got is Veterans Day Parade is coming up, November 11th. We're still looking for people to participate in the parade, and please share with everyone. Traditionally, we've had lower turnout for the parade, actually watching the parade. So please remind your friends and neighbors, Veterans Day Parade, November 11th. Show the men and women the support, come out and support them. Halloween's coming up. We've got a lot going on with Halloween. We've got 2 events, actually 3, but 2 major events. Friday is a little bit more family oriented. Downtown, trick-or-treating on the avenues. The library will be open doing different things with the kids. And then in the plaza, we'll have a traditional or untraditional EOA, Evening on the Avenues. We will actually be doing a Halloween costume contest from 6 to 8. So bring the kids down, safe trick-or-treating on the avenue, come down and do the costume contest, and then we'll be showing Beetlejuice for the kids. So it'll be a little bit more family-oriented on Friday. Saturday, it starts on L Street in front of Paul's on the Avenue from 12 to 6 with a pet costume contest and all kinds of fun things going on with the pets. And then Saturday night, in conjunction with the Boys of Propaganda, we'll be doing a little bit more adult downtown with a Evening on the Avenues like event in the plaza with bands, and then there'll also be a pub crawl. Costume contest at the bars downtown, so it'll be a little bit more adult oriented. And then I want to mention real quick, Christmas will be right behind that, and we have a goal this year. We want to give away 200 bikes. So we're looking for people to step up, organizations, people. You'd like to donate money towards the bikes, you'd like to donate a bike or a scooter or anything that you feel comfortable with. We really want to pump it up this year and have 200 bikes to give away, and then we'll have the parade and we'll have all kinds of things going on. The Kiwanis will have their traditional event on Saturday, and I'll give you more updates. And then last but not least, you'll probably see the new banners going up on Dixie Highway. Thank you, CRA. That was a grant that the CRA received with beautiful new banners on Dixie Highway. We also have new CRA banners for the downtown corridor and new holiday banners this year. Last year was the last year that I could actually stretch those old holiday banners, so we were able to put in the budget and with other grant monies to buy new holiday banners. And we continuously say the downtown corridor should be from A Street to the base of the bridge. So this year we have over 200 banners going up. We're trying to get everything out prior to Thanksgiving with new lights on the trees and new mulch in the planters, make everything look nice and pretty before season. And working with like I had said, the Garden Club, updating the planters, and also Food to Farm. We're just going to make everything great. I think it's going to be a great season this year. It's getting cold early up north, so everybody's coming down. And with 200 new banners going up, it's just going to pop and it's going to look great. So thank you, CRA.
I continue to attend the Good Government Initiative. We have several more day-long meetings and one 2-day one. Learning a lot of interesting things from other municipalities and also from what folks are doing in different parts of the country. I did have a couple things that I would like to bring up that have been concerns that residents have raised with me. Sort of things where maybe we can do a little bit of course correction as to how we as a commission handle things to perhaps improve things for residents a little bit more. One that's been mentioned is when we put items on the agenda, we used to identify who was putting them on, whether it was a commissioner and which commissioner, or whether it was a staff or a department. It seems like sometimes we're sliding a little bit on that, so I guess to the city manager, let's just make sure that all agenda items are identified where they're originating. I think it's not a big deal, but it's helpful. I know that, and this is one that I guess is addressed to us as a commission as to how we want to do things. I'm not sure that it's a spelled out policy, but for many years while I was up here, and I suspect Commissioner Maxwell when he was up here before as well, we had a section of the agenda that was public participation of non-agenda items. Anybody in the community who had a concern, didn't have to be related to the agenda, could come and speak to us. And our procedure for many years was, after the public had finished, the commission had an opportunity to comment or respond or say, ask staff, hey, could you follow up with that? Or indicate some sort of a response such that if you took the trouble to get to a city meeting, you didn't feel like you were talking to a dead wall, that, you know, somebody heard you and it registered in somebody. You don't have to, we didn't, as commissioners, have to comment on every single thing you said. Well, we didn't have to comment at all. It was sort of our choice. I would like to ask that we reinstitute that, and that we, I don't know what the procedure is to do that, if we have to make some formal thing, but this is a formal request that we reinstitute Commissioner comments, response to public comment. We've also had, also relating to meetings, there's been a bit of a tendency to kind of rush the meetings through a little bit. And this is something that I've heard from residents a number of times. And one of the things that I've never heard in all of the interactions I've had with residents is, we elected you to have quick meetings. Sure, it's nice if you can have quick meetings, that's nice, but that's not a primary objective. The primary objective is that items that are of interest or activities in the city that city government is involved with that are of wide interest in the city, or might be of wide interest, should be brought to meetings and have the opportunity for robust discussion, including differences of opinion. That's why they elect 5 of us, because we're not expected to all have the same view on things or the same insights. So I would like to request that we really make an effort to make sure that in running the meeting, that everybody who might have some input on something has the opportunity to provide that. I think we owe that to the community. And in relation to that, with length of the meetings, when the meetings are very short, it either means that fewer things are getting decided in the city, because you don't have, the meeting's short, so there are just not very many decisions to make. Or, I think it could also mean that fewer things are being brought to the commission to be discussed publicly, and more of them are decided out of the commission by staff. And we all understand that if the city manager or Jamie wants to buy an extra box of pencils or more paper for the copier, there's no reason whatsoever that he should bring that decision to the commission. But I think we have shifted a little bit off course in that many things that the community does care a lot about have not really come to the commission, which means there's no opportunity for people to know what's going on. And so this is a request that we just adjust that course a little bit. It's always a balancing act of what do you bring to a meeting, what do you just decide, hey, I generally know what this, the commissioners think it's important, so we'll just do that. I would say let's err on the side of bringing it to the commission such that people know what's going on, we know if there's a range of opinions about it. So those are my comments.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Thank you. I think most of us know that how much of a positive impact PVSO has made in our community since PVO has taken over 7 years ago. And I think that most of us recognize that crime in general, serious crimes in particular, have been reduced each year over the previous year, every year since the Sheriff's Office has been here. So let's give them another round of applause. However, sometimes, we get kind of a bad rap over our crime stats, and folks don't understand always what those crime stats represent, what kind of type of crime or whatever. So I took the opportunity to ask a few questions and say, how do we get these numbers that are, where are we really having a lot of issues with crime in our city? Because obviously it's not the violent crime that you would expect, and thank God for that. And I was surprised to learn, well, maybe not surprised, but bicycle thefts, believe it or not, are a huge driving factor in skewing our crime statistics. Bicycle thefts. And I thought to myself, well, how many bicycle thefts do we have? And then we looked into that number, and there were just, I guess, hundreds of bicycle thefts. And, there was a time in my life, anyway, when you had a bike, that was a big deal. And, having somebody rip your bike off was not cool.
They had bikes back then?
Yeah, they did have bikes. This is right after the big blast. The big boom. Exactly. And, but I also recognize that in this day and age, particularly in this day and age, but here in Lake Worth, bicycle ownership is something that most of us enjoy for a variety of reasons, not just recreation. A lot of folks, believe it or not, rely on their bicycle as a main means of transportation. So when you start thinking about folks getting their bikes ripped off on a regular basis, not only is it aggravating, but it also has a significant negative impact on an individual's lifestyle and their ability to earn a living. So I got with the city manager. I said, what can we do about this? It sounds kind of silly if you want to go after bicycle thefts, and because you always kind of think of that as being something that the kid down the street was just being a knucklehead, and he stole your bike and dumped it up the street. And I got with Mike Bornstein, and I got with Captain Baird, and we talked about it for a little bit, and I said, why don't we go back to the good old days? How many remember back in the day we had to register your bicycle? You had to get tags on your bikes? Yeah. That's a big deal. If you didn't have a tag on your bike, you got pulled over. Where's your tag? So we talked about it a little bit, and I said, why don't we see if the city has an ordinance that speaks to bicycle tags or whatever the heck it was. And sure enough, we found something that had a lot of dust on it. It was like really, really dusty from, I don't know, the 50s perhaps, or the 60s. And I said, gee, this is a great way we can go ahead and register bikes, and we'll charge $10. I said, wait a minute, let's not charge $10. So we decided to go with a voluntary registration program for bicycles. Okay, at no cost to the citizens, absolutely zero cost to the citizens. With the objective being twofold. The first objective is for the sheriff's office to really start addressing bicycle safety here in the city. I know there's been a number of accidents where folks have been hit by cars. Okay, unfortunately, some folks have lost their lives on bicycles in our city. We know that our state law requires the youngsters to wear helmets. A lot of these kids aren't wearing helmets. Okay, so the first objective is for the sheriff's office to really kind of keep a more critical eye out, if you will, for the youth and just bicycle safety in general. Are they following the traffic laws? Are they riding on the bicycle on the sidewalk if they're not supposed to be riding on the sidewalk, et cetera, et cetera. And we also decided that it should not be a negative experience, particularly in the case of the children, if they get pulled over because they're not wearing a helmet. I mean, this is maybe their first contact with a police officer or whatever, so it should be a positive experience. So the sheriff already has a program in place where they have pamphlets, bicycle safety pamphlets. And maybe if we got really creative, we might be able to find a way to come up with maybe a coupon or something, a little trinket, some kind of a gimme for the kids, so it's not a bad experience for the kids. So it gives the sheriff's office an opportunity to start a little bit more of a conversation, if you will, with some of the youth in the city. The second objective, of course, goes back to the actual bicycle thefts itself. And the idea here was, if we can crack down on bicycle thefts, it accomplishes a couple of things. Number one, those of us who have expensive, not me, those who have expensive bikes can feel a little more comfortable. And we want to send a message out far and wide that it's not a good idea to steal a bicycle in Lake Worth. Because PBSO is going to start looking. If you don't have a sticker, don't be surprised if you get pulled over and encouraged to get one. And what do they call those, field interviews? Is that what they call them?
Field interviews. Yeah.
Field interviews. So, I think that a lot of the stuff that's going on in here in our town, is my humble opinion, some of these knuckleheads are using these bicycles and they're riding in other neighborhoods and they're doing stupid stuff like trying to break into your car, take your lawn ornaments, maybe breaking into your house, whatever the case may be. So I'm thinking with a full court press on the bicycle registration process, number one, it's going to reduce the number of bicycles that are stolen because the knuckleheads are going to know not to steal a bike that's registered. But number two, a lot of these knuckleheads are gonna stop doing the stuff that they were doing before because they're not gonna be able to ride a bike because they're too damn lazy and won't walk to commit their crime. And I mean that sincerely. And I think, and that's not a bad thing. So if they're too lazy to walk to commit their crime, maybe they'll go live somewhere else.
Yeah, baby.
So we did order, Mike, I do believe the stickers are in, or are they in now?
They should be this week.
Okay, the stickers are in this week, and I think Commissioner Amoroso, Andy, you were talking about the Friday night events downtown for Halloween, which reminds me, is there a height restriction?
Yeah, you're not telling them.
I need my candy fix.
I'm sure if we persuade the neighborhood president's council front porch, they would allow us to distribute and or advertise.
Go back and forth, please.
So, thank you, Madam Mayor. And so what we want to do is we're going to have somebody represented on that evening for the kids to register the bikes. We're also going to work directly with the neighborhood associations to encourage folks to register their bikes. Okay? We're also going to try to work directly with the schools, particularly at the beginning of the school year and right after Christmas when the kids get their new bikes. Okay? We've been working with a couple of the bike operators here in town, particularly the fellow here down here on Dixie Highway, who have agreed to help us with this program. The Sheriff's Office has agreed to get some engravers for those who wish to have an extra level of identification of their bikes above and beyond the serial number that's already affixed under the crank shaft or whatever is concerned. So when you buy a bike here in town, they'll be more than happy to register that bike for you right there on the spot. Our community events, they'll register your bikes, and they're also, I think they've agreed to give away, I think they agreed to raffle off really good bicycle locks. Whenever we have these events and people register to get their bikes, they might raffle off a really good bicycle lock and give you some education. One of the things I never thought about when we talk about the bicycle thefts is, you know, it's not enough to go to Home Depot and buy a length of chain to put on your bike, because it just really isn't strong enough. Any knucklehead with a bolt cutter can get through that. The locks that they have at these bicycle shops are a lot more sturdy and a lot more theft resistant. Of course, they cost a little bit more, but again, this is part of the overarching education program. So I'm really happy to roll that program out, and I hope that everybody will get excited about it and talk about it, and not let this be one of those things that just, you know, we talked about for a couple months and let it fall by the wayside. We should really press this at all of our events for the next few years and let everybody know that we take the bicycle safety and the bicycle theft issue very, very serious in Lake Worth. And I think it's going to create a better quality of life for everybody in the city. So that's what I have tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. First, I want to say, if you see me moving my glasses around, I have graduated to the next level of glasses. So I'm going in I think the 27th or the 29th to get it. So I've got to move up and they're progressives, and I can't get used to the readers on the bottom and the whatever. So if you see me going like this a bunch of times, don't think I'm going crazy up here. Speaking of reading, Read for the Record is Thursday, and we always work with the Literacy Coalition, and it is always a contest between us and the other cities to see who can read to the most children each and every year. So I don't know if all my commissioners have signed up yet, but I sure hope you will. And it's always a wonderful time. This year it's going to be a book called Not Norm. It's about a goldfish.
Norman.
Not normal.
Not Norman?
Not normal.
Not normal? Perfect. No. Perfect. So we'll be reading that book, and that's always a fun time. I just wanted to address very briefly what Commissioner McBoy was talking about, because I'm the one who runs the meetings. When I started here in, I guess what was it? It was November of 2011. We had very, very long meetings and very, very late meetings, and it's not about rushing the meetings, it's about everyone making their points succinctly and getting a chance to give their opinions and to move on. I ran it much stricter actually back then, much more closer to Robert's rules, and it was actually gave us all less of a chance of input. So I got a little bit loosey-goosey to try to alleviate some of that, and we did. I'm more than happy to go back to a formal meeting. I think it's much more restrictive, and it really is very formal and gives you less of a chance to participate, but if that's what you want, we certainly should have maybe an agenda item on that, discuss it. I'd be more than happy to do whichever it is that you'd like. I think that we're kind of an informal community, and I think that I want to give everyone a chance to speak. It's not about being restrictive, it's about being, everyone getting a chance. We do have rules on the books in regards that, again, I'm more than happy to bring back if you'd like. Pam would be more than happy to send you the rules that we had in reference to how long we address certain business items. Remember, we had items that went on for hours and hours, and we restricted it to a certain amount of time, and if we didn't vote on it or solve the issue at that moment, we went to a workshop on those. I'm more than happy to go back to that too. I just feel, I guess sitting in both business environments and nonprofit environments and to the people of this community, it's our job to conduct business and to make decisions in a timely fashion so that the order of business can move forward, not quickly, not whatever, but within the time constraints that we're here. It's our job to do. We don't meet every week, and that's what I try to do. I'm open for conversation on it. In reference to the commissioner's comments after public participation of non-agenda items, if you look back on the meetings and you look back to several of the videos, well, first of all, it's not on the agenda. It's never been on the agenda. And quite often, it has become an opportunity where most of the infighting going up here on the dais happened in those times. It was as if it was a lob and serve, kind of situation going on here. I say this, and then the arguing would go back and forth. And I mentioned, I went to a League of Cities meeting very early on in being mayor, and it was a meeting on meetings. And I was there with several other cities, and I said, what do you do when people don't obey the protocol or the rules of the meeting? And that was my question, and they said, well, they have to. And I asked again, what do you do when, well, you can throw them out, or you can end the meeting or adjourn the meeting? You could do, again, is that really what we want to do? We have a job to do, and we're here to conduct business and to get through it. So like I said, I'm trying to open it up for, I'd be more than happy to have a full conversation. This is not the time or the forum in this meeting to have that, but if you'd like to bring it back as an agenda item, I'm open to it. But I don't want it to be a place for politics or for setting things up or for setting up an argument or a debate. If you have a reasonable item that you want to bring up, create an agenda item and let's have it as an agenda, not in a forum in which people to lob opinions on it. It's counterproductive, and quite honestly, it was embarrassing quite often last year in front of a lot of different people and professional groups and organizations and citizens. And we looked very unprofessional, and it always happened there. So that's why I'm just following the rules. It's not on the agenda. It's never been on the agenda. And also, if you'd like to look at agendas from the County Commission, the City of Boca Raton, City of Green Acres, probably about 20 other cities in Palm Beach County, they don't have it either. So it's not something that I've instituted that I came with out of the top of my head and decided to pull. It's the protocol of a meeting. So again, if you'd like to bring that up as an agenda, I won't debate or argue anything of it now. But that's why I did what I did, and I just want to be open and honest. It's not to make it short or to move things fast or whatever. It's to conduct, for us to be professionals and conduct this in a respectful way with one another and with you and with the people that come before us. Thank you. All right.